We'll fuck all the dice, bring worlds to life. Masters of the dungeon cutting like a knife. Heroes, villains, lord, share. Learn the craft, magic in the air.
Welcome everyone to the first episode of Masters of the Dungeon. My name is Nacho, and each week I'll be joined by an experienced game master. Together, we'll dive into the art and fun of running tabletop RPGs. This week, I'm joined by Brad Thompson. Brad runs the YouTube channel Cutting Words. He is a writer, a game designer, and was a top 3 finalist in the Wizards of the Coast 2021 Dungeon Master Challenge. Welcome, mate.
Hello. Great to be
Hello.
here.
Good. That's nice. Glad you're here.
Yeah.
So,
Experienced Dungeon Master. Ready to answer all the questions. Here we go.
yeah. So, before we dive into today's topic, I'm going to take a moment to get to know you a little better with a segment I decided I'm working on it, but I think I'm going to call it Game Master Backstory, because why do players always get to have a backstory and not the Game Master?
The epic backstory. 10 pages. Got all of those long backstories. Nice novels to sit down with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will not be accepting I have dark vision as an answer. So when did you first start playing tabletop RPGs?
When I first started playing, it would be, the year was 2009. There we go. That's the year I started. So that's where I also started. So it's where I first kind of settled after university, started working, and started making new friends. I just moved into a new city, Auckland, the big smoke here in New Zealand. And so I made new friends through university clubs, board game clubs. And from there, those board game friends lured me in to some tabletop RPGs, and it all kind of spiraled from there.
So doing the math, 4th edition?
So the first game was not actually Dungeons and Dragons. I know, it's a popular misconception. I started Dungeons and Dragons at 5th edition, and I've remained that because it's still technically 5th edition despite the rules changes. Anyway, no, the first TTRPG I played was the Champions Hero system. It's like a superhero one where you roll like 3d6 to do everything. So I did that, and then after that I got lured straight into World of Darkness Vampire. Just like went off some dark directions before we eventually settled into Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. That explains some of the things I've seen on your Instagram. So did you start out as a player, or did you jump straight in as a game master?
Player. So which definitely ease myself in. So ease in with playing, cool, I don't know the rules. What do I do? I want to do this. Okay, the game master, just roll these dice. Oh, perfect. They make my character for me. Great. Rather than, who wants to read a whole book straight out the gate? It sounds so annoying. Who's time for that, especially in this day and age? So I was a player, got led along the garden path, as it were, into the hobby, and eventually got into even deeper end, because I felt like I went into D&D in a weird roundabout way. So, did the Champions Hero system, did the Vampire, and that led into LARPing, which is live action roleplay, which is away from the table. Now, the table's now gone. We're not even at Dungeons and Dragons yet. I'm like dressed up in costumes, running around fighting people with swords suddenly, and I really went to the deep end there, and even running games, running LARPs, where like you hire whole camps and like run around, like all directing a movie. Basically, you got like a bunch of crew, you do play the NPCs and monsters and villages or whatever, and make storylines go along for like 100 people or whatever in this campsite. So I was doing that, and then eventually, Dungeons and Dragons, what's this? And so I kind of came down to Dungeons and Dragons. This is way easier than running LARPs. I can just run a table, miniatures and things. This is way easier than like having to direct people to play NPCs and hire up campsites and things. So yeah, my journey is a unique one, I'd say, for Dungeons and Dragons.
I only know of LARPing through that film Role Models.
We don't talk about that.
That's not accurate.
Not accurate. No one's yelling lightning bolt. Yeah.
That doesn't represent my hobby correctly.
No.
Okay.
It's way cooler than that. Trust me. You have to be there. Have to be there. Admittedly, LARP does not translate very well into video because you can't. It's part imagination. We do dress up, have set dress places and things like that, but you have to come in there in the moment. You know, it's
Yep.
when you get fully in character. Yeah.
So yeah, that's some high nerd cred there. Right.
Yeah. You asked the question. I mean, I just gave the answer.
No, it's a good answer. It's a good answer. So what made you want to become a game master?
Oh, so where to begin here? The I think it's because ever since I was a child, I've always liked being the villain. I've always liked the bad guys. I'm like, I want to be that. I want to do that all the time. How do I get to do that? I get to be the game master, and I get to play all the villains.
Nice.
So that's where we're all kind of, I guess, harking back to the true origin story, the 3 layers deep in the backstory there. This is the heart of the issue. My passion for villainy, and I just love over the top villainy. Just ridiculous villains, monologues, the whole 9 yards. And yeah, so that's probably where it started. And then from there, it's like, oh, actually, kind of getting these stories together, and like, there's a lot of aspects of Game Master I really love. Like, I love world building. I love creating like deep lore and watching players uncover it, my clues and
Yeah.
things like that. I just love assembling these puzzles and just watching players figure it all out. And, oh wow, what they did there. Or I think of something completely different. I'd not even consider like, oh, that's amazing. I'm changing it immediately to that. That's a even better idea.
Sometimes your players give you the best ideas.
Yeah, it's just all good fun, isn't it? Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's I think mine was because I have a failed dream of being a film director. It's like I was told that was never a career when I grew up. So I think this is the closest you can get.
Yeah, well, I grew up during the Lord of the Rings era, right? The early 2000s, all the Lord of the Rings movies coming out and things like that. And yeah, that villain passion was like, I studied film. Basically, I was like, oh yeah, I want to make movies so I can create villains and things like that. And then it's like, wait a minute, like just push that passion to what? Because there's games I could run and play that involve that. Wait, hold on, what am I doing? So yes, I feel you there.
Who's your favorite villain?
Oh, I think my original favorite villain, which is ridiculous. This is a ridiculous answer. So as a child, my favorite villain and favorite movie, I guess with the villain in it, is from Austin Powers 2, Dr. Evil. I just loved he just is because he was all the villain tropes combined into one character, and I just love that.
So have you run a game with lasers with sharks with lasers on their heads? Then
I have not. No. Though I'm gonna make a note. I really should.
All right. Back to the subject.
Oh, all right.
So is there a particular RPG or edition that's your favorite?
Huddle Pass D&D 5th edition. I think the 2014 rules are still my fave. I'm still getting used to these new 2024 changes. I'm still reserved on that going, I think eventually in a couple of years, when a few expansion books come out and a lot of house rules are coming, we'll get at 2024 rules into a position where we're happy with them. But right now, the 2014 rules, with everyone with your own home rules in there, because everyone house rule, no one played the rules exactly as written. No one did that.
No.
So I guess my favorite rule set is D&D 5e, but house ruled into these mythical set of rules that don't actually exist anywhere because they're all personal house rules. So there you go. It's my home rules game. There we go.
It's how the game should be played.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rules are a guide, a suggestion.
Yes. Yeah. And I know I hear what you're saying with the 2024 rules. I like the layout of the new books a lot.
Great art.
I don't know if I like the content. if that makes sense. But
Mm.
we haven't got all three. I'm similar to you. I am just starting to run games with it, and it's going to take a year to find how we feel. Some of those higher level player options there seem a little bit
Oh, high level
scary as a
always
dungeon master.
the wheels always fall off the wagon at high level. It's always like after level
Yeah,
15, it's kind of like whatever. Just throw a couple of ancient dragons in there as backup as minions for the boss or something, just to help balance it out. Just throw it against the
yeah,
wall. 'Cause
yeah.
it's just crazy times.
All right. This is off the cuff, but is there anything you're currently reading, watching, listening to that you'd recommend for other game masters? Anything for
Ooh.
inspiration?
Well, what I've been quite enjoying lately is I've been listening to podcasts like it's the History of the Rome podcast and there's a Pirate Caribbean. I can't remember its name now. Damn it. Oh well. That one. There's a pirate one as well about the history of the Caribbean and all that stuff. I just love the you can learn so much from history and just like inspiring of like what? There's no way it really happened. Really? That'd be great for a campaign idea or great world building. Like yeah, like there's a lot of stealing things from other from different shows and books and whatever is great. Like take inspiration, just do it.
Yeah,
Like I remember when Mandalorian season 1 came out, and I was watching that, and I was like, "Oh, this is great." But weirdly, at the same time, introduced to my campaign I was running, a Mandalorian style bounty hunter showed up hunting one of the players with like all these cool like crossbow with different ammo and gadgets and things, and fly around a jetpack or magical jetpack, and because it's like, oh, that's so cool, and just took what was inspiring at the time. So yeah,
yeah. No,
hundred
stealing
percent.
is yeah, good. I did the same with I ran Dungeon of the Mad Mage, and
Same.
I was reading a lit RPG at the time called Dungeon Crawler Carl, which is a aliens come down and turn the Earth into a dungeon, and it's a intergalactic game show. So I decided to make Dungeon of the Mad Mage a game show, and Hallister Blackcoat as a game show host. So
Nice.
I just stole everything from that book,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
and it made it so much more fun, and it made more sense in my head. So yeah,
Yeah, like definitely the adventure. Like I found Dungeon by Mage was a book that was it had a lot of ideas, but not really. Like I felt like half the adventure was still on someone's computer at WotC's, like a Word file or something, and then put it in the book. There's like a bunch of half ideas in there,
yeah,
and it's like, what is this? But I found there was enough there you could go in there, but you put your own threads in and like actually make it make sense and tie things together
yeah.
yourself. So at least it had
I
that going for it.
I had to go to old editions to get more information on Skullport. The Skullport section was so underwhelming, and
Yeah,
I really love the sound of Skullport. Just
nothing going on there.
nothing going on there. It's the Moss Isley of the Undermountain to me. So, all right. Uh, you're not just a game master; you're also a game designer. Tell us a little bit about Granny Wars.
All right. We'll pull back from D&D. We'll go back to an earlier time. So Granny Wars is a card game I designed. Um, when was it now? I think it was like I want to say just over 10 years ago. So it's a card game I designed that is a bluffing game where you're basically these grannies in a competition. Basically, no one knows who's which granny, and you're trying to basically sneak the most victory points onto your granny to win. Well, there's also negative point scores, and if people see you everyone can see you put cards down. Some people might spike your pile, thinking that's your granny. So you're kind of bluffing, kind of like, "Oh, is this my granny? I'll just pretend this is my granny," kind of thing. A bit of that going on. It's kind of the core concept of the game, and um, I just love bluffing games, and so I was kind of like inspired at the time. I was playing a lot of like Battlestar Galactica, the board game, The Resistance, all those kind of secret, hidden your loyalty type games. Because I love villainy, I love being a secret villain. And so naturally, I wanted to make a card game that kind of had harkened to that. And so I came up with Granny Wars. Originally did that theme. The publisher came up with the theme. I was like, sure, you want to print my game? Yeah, do it. Granny sounds great. Let's do it. So
Because that was my question. What was your obsession with Britney's? But
Oh, what wasn't my idea as the publishers. I was like, yeah, sounds good. Like, if you think they'll sell better, sure. It was quite abstract before. Yeah, so I presented it to them at a convention, board game convention. They took it away to playtest, and I had already done extensive playtesting, going around different board game groups and board game stores, going, hey, it was really easy to playtest because the game's so short, like 10 minutes. Like, hey guys, you have 10 minutes, I'll quickly show you and we'll run this game.
yeah,
So it got refined pretty quick. And then, they were happy with it and said, yeah, we'll publish it. Yay. So that's cool. Now there's a
nice.
game with my name on it on shelves in stores. It's super cool.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've seen it. I think you can pick it up at Mighty Ape. I think might have it. I'm not.
I know they had it. This used to have it. I can't remember if they still do. But yes, but there's lots of local game stores around the place. I think Wickles had it for a while. I think as well. I think it just recently got an Australian distributor as well. So I think it's popping up over there.
Oh, Gameology.
I'm not sure who off the top of my head, but because it recently got a second edition print job, so it's got a new artwork and all that.
Nice.
So it's all recently done up because 10 years. Yeah,
That's awesome.
super cool.
All right. Cutting Words.
Yes.
Not just an infamous bardic spell. It's also the name of your YouTube channel.
Yes.
So what's your channel about?
My YouTube channel. So my YouTube channel is Cutting Words. I talk about this game you may have heard of called Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. So I decided to dust off that film degree of mine and just build a little studio for myself and talk about the game. Kind of hot off the back of the Dungeon Master Challenge. I decided to, you know what, let's get the good times rolling. Let's make a YouTube channel and just talk about the game and see what happens. Talk about the game, news about the game, try different tips and things, kind of just experimenting, try different aspects. I'm currently in the process right now as we speak. Well, not while recording, but before we're recording, and I'll go back to it after this recording. I'm editing a video where I recorded a live play game. I'm experimenting with different forms of content. So I've got a live play D&D game I recorded in the studio with multiple cameras and things. We're cutting it together, so hopefully
Nice.
they'll be up very soon. Using the 2024 rules. So experimenting different formats. Done a lot of unboxing videos. If you like unboxing videos, you're a lot of videos there for you there. So yeah, just be everything D&D related.
Yeah, I think I've watched a couple of your unboxing videos as should I buy this? or that one where you've already bought it and you're just trying to justify your purchase.
Pretty much. I've already bought this. I'll make a video with it.
Yeah. No, I mean me.
Right.
I've already bought it, but I'll watch an unboxing video to justify why I spent this money. All right. So you finished in the top 3 in the official 2021 Dungeon Master Challenge. Just tell us about that. Tell us about that experience.
First and only, I believe. I think they did it once and went never again, I guess. Yes, it was. It was an interesting one. Because WotC advertised at the time, we're in the middle of lockdowns and whatnot. So no one's really getting out and about. And they put together this challenge where, what was it? They put an open call to just anyone can design a trap and submit it, and then they'd make a short list of 10 contestants out of that. And I believe they got hundreds and hundreds of submissions.
600, I believe. Yeah, they said.
All right. And so I got picked. I was like, the only one in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm like, top in the Southern Hemisphere, straight out of the gates. Or he got an achievement out of this. For my very silly trap, which is available on the Dungeon Masters Guild, DM's Guild.
Yep.
Which is not in front of me right now. Gosh, it was years ago. Let me think what it was. It was Kobold Trap, which I called Rumor Beads. That's it. Which is a silly trap where basically it's a room just filled with dangling beads that with little bells and like cutlery or whatever. It's random junk, but it's assembled by these kobolds in this room, and players go in there, and because it's noisy jingling beads, it wakes these rats in another room. They start running a wheel, make spears, stick out walls, and all this nonsense. It's just the hilarity of like this room of beads, so you can't actually see through the beads. There's no empty space to teleport into. It's just a very silly, like very basic trap that has a lot of silly, like I guess, complications because just out of its pure simplicity. Yeah, bit of fun. I love kobolds.
Yeah.
So we did that, got into the top 10, and then from there it was intense, super intense. Like you have, I think it was like 1 week or 48 hours. It was a very short time frame. Like basically, here's the thing you need to design. You have 48 hours. I think it was 48 hours. Um, Go and to quickly write and design to specifications what they want, submit it. So the first one was design a Feywild domain because Wild Witchlight was the next book to come out, it wasn't out yet, and so they wanted like basically Feywild content. Okay, so we
Mm.
design a Feywild domain. So design Slumberwood, and again, this and all my submissions for Slumberwood is also in the DM's Guild if you wanna have a read. So you Slumberwood and so design a spooky Fey realm, and then basically every week after that was like, okay, design a NPC that's in the realm, or design a hazard that's in the realm, blah blah blah. So you kind of go through some of that. So it ended up being like a writer's challenge. Initially, I was like, this feels like a writing challenge than a DM challenge, because honestly, as DMing, when you're running games, you don't really need to write that much down. Honestly, a few bullet points maybe. Like, no one writes things down. Who does that? Anyway, really, you take notes.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah. I'm terrible. No, I'm
really?
terrible.
Nah, I never write anything down. It's all up here, all in the brain. I just remember, or players will remind me and go, "Oh yes, of course, yes, I remember that definitely." Um, anyway, so we did the whole thing, and it eventually got narrowed down to the final three, and the final three had to run a game for a bunch of celebrities live,
Mhm.
and like Matthew Lillard, Beto Volters, a bunch of other people. Live on air, so we had to record it online. Again, lockdown, so I was like, had to hobble to get my setup. So I didn't have this fancy setup then. I had like just what I could get access to without being able to leave my house. 'Cause I
Mhm.
couldn't leave my house.
These
So
are essential items, people.
yeah,
Ship
yeah,
them to me.
yeah, basically. So I was hoping to get a setup that would be passable for the challenge. And yeah, so recorded. I had to write a game for these celebrities, but not with my content I've been writing. I had to use a different contestant's content that I was given 48 hours before running, so I had to quickly
Ooh.
throw something together, and I had to
So that
basically,
explains, because I wrote down, like, I'm sure I did Slumberwood, and then I actually
yeah,
watched your video, and it was like Neverfall, and I was like, am I
yeah,
confused? So was he Slumberwood or Neverfall?
yeah. So that was yeah. So Andrew Biginski's the ultimate winner, his one. So basically you were given 48 hours, given some hours of content to run, which I wasn't thrilled about. I can understand they were doing the game show twist type thing, but I was kind of like, this is my opportunity to showcase my work. I would like to showcase my work as opposed to someone else's. Anyway,
Yeah.
so we had to basically had 40 hours to design a 1 hour scenario for these celebrities to play in, but also highlight and showcase a certain percentage, the number of things of the person's work as well. So
Mm.
there's quite a lot to cram into 1 hour. Like it was a bit ridiculous. So I gave my whole college try getting that together. Basically, my solution was okay. Every single important NPC in the setting is in the same room as the players right now to try and fit everything in.
Mm.
But yes, so that was an interesting challenge, and whew, uh, very nervous, but got through it. I recommend for that one. I did write notes. I did write for notes for that one. So I did write a write up the lead in, and I kind of read
Yeah.
that off the script. I was like, you know what? As long as I get through the intro, we'll be fine from there. We can just respond to what the players are doing, just set the scene, and away we go. So I wrote a big thing to set the scene. I'm not sure you can probably tell in the video I'm reading something off the side of the screen there
Yeah.
because it's like, oh my gosh, deer in the headlights.
Yeah. It's all on YouTube. So
Yes,
yeah, the judges were Matthew Lillard, B. Dave Walters, Jennifer Kritschmere,
Christian.
sorry,
Yeah,
Amanda Harmon, and Christina Ariel. So
yeah,
they're all pretty big hitters in the D&D community.
yeah.
I
And it's
mean,
still and it's still up on the official D&D YouTube channel. It's all up there.
plus Shaggy from Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
That's surreal.
Crazy times.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. That's a great achievement. So I imagine DMing for those people was intense.
Yes. But yeah, but basically after that, a super intense game, that's why I was just like, you know what? I've done the scariest thing I could ever do in my whole life. I just ran a game for the early celebrities. I'm gonna start a YouTube channel. What? Nothing can stop me now. I can be afraid
Yeah.
of nothing. So that's why cutting words came into being. I was like, let's do it.
Nice. Well, this just naturally segues into our subject. So, I still get the pre-game jitters just for my home games. So yeah, dealing with anxiety as a game master, nerves can be a major hurdle for both new and experienced GMs. So, should we dive into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So, do you get nervous before you GM a game?
Less so these days, but mostly because I do a bunch of paid team work, right? So I get hired for events and things, and so I get nervous for those ones. Home games, these people get what they pay for, like they can't complain. They can so whatever.
Yeah.
So home games I'm less worried about. But these days used to be back in the day was like, oh no, especially when I was trying out some new styles of content and new styles of game. I was like, oh, see how this goes. Like I'm kind of pushing the envelope here, but for like otherwise, home games I'm not too worried about because they're my friends. We've been gaming together for ages. It'll be fine. Paid games, like big events and things like that, when there's like audience or there's like people who, I like, I feel like I really got to put extra effort in because,
Well, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. The player's fun isn't your responsibility. It's a team effort.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
came to turn up for a game.
Yeah. So the table is important, but like in the scenarios where you don't necessarily control the whole table, like where say you're at a convention or something and like a bunch of random people who don't even know each other sat down at the table, and it's like, okay, there's a lot more work on effort on my part trying to finesse things and try and keep things moving. Like one person's running off doing this. Okay, I need to somehow like kind of corral them to be together, or like not have this one person ruin the game for everyone else, kind of thing. Kind of manage all that. It's just a whole extra kind of layer you need to manage when they're not just your friends. Yeah.
Yeah, I imagine I've only played it in a couple of sort of game shop type environments, and yeah, that's where you have the worst games when you've got sort of randoms turning up and they don't know each other, and there's always that one person that wants to be that extra dark sort of murder hobo, and then the other person that they've all got different agendas, I guess.
Yeah. That's
And
why.
that's
Yeah.
an
That's why. Like.
expectation.
Yeah, that's why like session zero is very important, and like having the right table, like of friends. Like also you got to start somewhere, and like going to a store game or convention game is like with a bunch of strangers. You got to start somewhere to meet people and learn the game and like what's going on here. But eventually, like sitting down to a group of regulars that you're all on the same page with, like magic.
Yeah, yeah.
That's where it's at.
Have you ever had a game go completely off the rails, and how'd you handle it?
I don't have rails to begin with, so it's all good. Like whatever. Like you want to do this? Okay, let's do it. So I don't have to be too precious with my darlings. Like, I'm just like, you want to do this crazy thing? Sure, go for it. Let's roll dice and see what happens. Like, I try not to. Oh, if you don't plan, then the players can't ruin the plan because there was no plan to begin with, right? Normally, I brought out lines, but it's like, I keep finding over the time I keep over preparing. Like, I got too much prepared. Like, the players don't get through the content. Most of the off the rails things is the players end up role playing too much with each other, or particularly NPC. This random NPC, like, okay, you can keep talking to this random guard, I guess, or whatever. You want to take him on an adventure, okay, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's that NPC.
There's that one NPC that you've just the players just somehow gravitate towards. Next thing, he's the most important part of your game.
Yeah. So you shuffle plot around behind the scenes, right? Behind the curtain, just go, yes, it was always my intention that NPC was super important. Just kind of move things over to them or whatever. You just kind of shuffle things around behind the scenes. So no content's ever wasted. There's no, the rails just shift around, as it were. Yeah.
The DM's moving castle.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Everyone's had a good time. Is all that matters.
I think, yeah, this is something I need to improve on, but you do need to embrace the unexpected.
Yes.
Improv can lead to some of the most memorable moments at your table.
Exactly. We're not reading a novel here. It's not like Yeah, so you had to allow a lot of flexibility. You're like, okay, the players want to do this thing, okay, and
Yeah.
sometimes, like, if you're not feeling prepared for something, you can just be like, look, guys, I'm not actually prepared for that area you want to go to, for
Mm.
whatever reason. In my case, it'll probably be because I haven't built that terrain piece yet. But so just like, give me to next week, guys. I have this awesome terrain built. I haven't built it yet, so just give it. It'll be super epic. How about like you go do this other thing? I've hinted at here, like above the table. Hey guys, maybe we should look at this other thing first, and then next week I'll have it built, and you can go do that. Don't worry about it, kind of thing. So, don't be afraid to sometimes have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have to, not like you say, not be so precious. I had are you familiar with the Sunless Citadel at all? That adventure?
Yeah, that was in Tales of the Yawning Portal reprinted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a certain kobold in there who's a major NPC called Meepo, and
Mm.
I spent a lot of time prepping Meepo. And when the players enter the room, they find Meepo in a bed crying. He gives a lot of important information. He's meant to be endearing. He's meant to be a very memorable NPC. My characters immediately stabbed him when he walked in the room, which just threw out all my prep.
Yeah. Well, clearly that wasn't Meepo. The real Meepo is the next room over. Here he is. Or Meepo left a diary or something. It's all good. You shuffle the information around. So
Yeah, and in the back of your mind, you're like, "You mother!" I spent hours prepping this guy. I had a voice and everything.
alas.
Yeah, poor Meepo, R.I.P. So how do you prepare for a session to help ease your nerves? Have you got any sort of rituals or anything?
A lot of caffeine.
Caffeine?
But it's more because I get home from work, I'm exhausted, so I'm like, oh, I gotta run a game. Get energized up. Here we go. Bring on the performance. But yeah, let's see. Otherwise, I try and read ahead of time. Like normally, so like if I'm doing a published adventure,
Yeah.
which I have done with published adventures quite a lot, and I've kind of modified them. But in the way that they've got the core there, I'll try and reread the section that they're about to hit if I can. Just to make sure it's all top of my mind, because I don't like looking things up constantly during the game if I can avoid it. So I'll try and like read certain things that are coming up if it's one of those. That's not completely on my own brain. Like, hold on, what's going on here? Okay. So I do have a few like notes I might reference, but and I find also terrain again because I have a big terrain and mini collection. I find just that aspect of building the prep of like building the scenario, go actually, and kind of getting ideas on the encounter from the bits I have. Like, how many skeletons are going to be in this encounter? How many skeleton minis I have? Where I grab this handful because there's this many. There we go. I'm sure it's balanced. It'll be fine. That's how I
CR,
balance encounters.
the CR system's broken anyway.
Nah, yeah, exactly. If I need more skeletons, it'll be a second wave of skeletons or whatever. It doesn't matter. Like, don't be too precious about the counterbalancing. It'll be fine. I'm sure it'll be fine. Maybe some skeletons that's like his hit points or something if there's too many of them. Who knows? It'll be fine.
Yeah, players like rolling characters anyway, so
Oh, players are super hard to kill, especially in 5e.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
after level 1, it's like, how do you kill these guys? So hard. I've tried so many times, failed.
I think that will be a future topic. How to kill your players.
Or when you should kill your players might be
Yeah.
because like I've definitely done a narrative a TPK, but it ended up being like a fake out kind of one. That was
Yeah.
definitely one of my envelope pushing, very nervous such scenarios I put together. Like, I don't know how this will go. Like how the players react to this, and it's kind of very risky. That's probably one of my more nervous scenarios I've run, where it was actually Dungeon of the Mad Mage.
Mm.
So because the twist, and spoilers for Dungeon of the Mad Mage, this is one of the big twists in the book.
Yeah.
It is the mind flare twist, where it's all virtual reality kind of thing, like they got like during the Matrix.
Under what do they call it? Alter Deep?
Ultra Deep, yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a twist partway through my campaign because in my Mad Mage campaign, it started off as 2 separate Waterdeep Dragon Heist adventures, and I took half the players from each of those adventures and put them together as they enter Undermountain. They became
Because you can't have the yawning portal there and not. You can't just put that carrot there. and not
Yeah.
have your players go down. So
Yeah. So I had the 2 players from each game kind of come together and, like, they became the adventuring party, and everyone all the NPCs just like, "What do you mean you guys did the dragon heist together?" And they're like, "What are you talking about?" And kinda like it had all these kinda weird things going on, and the twist was they were being ultra deep this whole time when they reached that kind of point halfway through the adventure, and I
oh,
kind of
nice.
staged a TPK moment to then everything resets, and I wake up in the yawning portal, and everything's slightly different, no one knows what basically kinda like deja vu, kinda Matrix kinda loop type thing. Which I was very risky because like it was all a dream kind of twist is very risky.
Yeah,
Because it can go across really badly. So I was very nervous about like how to handle it. Because I've been sort of seeing it throughout, like, and I thought it was under Mountain Madness, like, are we going sort of insane? No. NPCs aren't all gaslighting you. They're all just mind flayers, machinations. You're actually in pods right now getting this fake realities actually did happen to extent just you're editing your memories and kind of replaying things. So I didn't use the all dream twist to rewrite everything that happened. It's just like these are just different versions of what happened, but in reality, it did kind of happen that way. Just to ease off the
yeah.
everything you did before in the last like I don't know 50 sessions is irrelevant. No. That did happen, but just you've been going through loops, playing out different versions of that. Where these mind flayers have been experimenting on you. It's all good. It's
This
all
is
fine.
this is pre Baldur's Gate 3 as well.
Yeah, it was. It
Yeah,
was.
yeah.
So
Nice.
yeah.
We we played we started on Dragon Heist and it became Dungeon of the Mad Mage just because, like I said, the Yawning Portal was there
Yeah.
and my players wanted to go down. I'm like, well, I can't put that carrot there and not have them not go down there.
I
But
I really rate Woody Dragon Heist. It's one of my favorite published adventures.
mm,
Cause a little bit of work, but
yeah,
I just love the like urban adventure, kind of like
yeah,
nice tight scope there, but also a lot of like links to other things and there's so much
yeah.
depth you can do in
I
that city. It's super cool.
I kicked it off with the museum heist from Golden Vault instead.
Oh yeah,
Because I really like that museum heist, so I used that. I placed that museum in Waterdeep. Yeah,
nice.
we had a lot of fun with that adventure. Um, that but where they meet the mind flayer in the sewers. First off, yeah, they're all like, "Oh, come on, mate! I know
Yeah,
you're
my
playing.
player level 1. What the
Yeah,
hell?
I know you're playing Baldur's Gate 3, but I thought I'd just totally taken it. Um, yeah, I find I get nervous if I'm rolling, like if I don't read a monster's stat block, spells especially. If a monster has got a lot of spells and um, I haven't read them in advance, then I get a little bit, it's my turn. How does this work? Oh my god, I don't want to be. There's nothing worse, sort of flipping pages while you're dungeon mastering. I'm probably going to jump between the term dungeon mastering and game mastering. I'm more comfortable saying dungeon mastering, but game mastering does feel a
Same
bit more
difference. Same difference.
neutral. Yeah, but yeah, if I haven't got my spells prepared, that's that. I don't like reading in front of players. It kind of feels like you're taking everyone out of the moment. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
That's why normally, if I'm previewing a monster, normally I just go, okay, what's your best spell? I'm gonna
Yeah.
action one's gonna be probably the best spell because I might not get a second turn. So start with the best spell,
Yeah,
work
yeah,
my way down.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I
yeah,
did that. Yeah. Was yeah. What's the most famous one? Lost Mine of Fandelver.
Mm.
Yeah, he's got a God, what's the bad guy that's hiding out in the red brown hideout?
Black
He's got
Spider. No.
no,
Oh, the
not
other
the black.
guy.
Yeah, the wizard that they're there.
Yeah, the mid level boss. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, my players just kicked all the doors down, and I was like, and they just absolutely like trashed that dungeon. They destroyed the Nothic. They just destroyed everything. They were just walking all over it, and they kicked they kicked the door down to this guy's room, and he's got a scroll of fireball. So I'm like, oh, fuck it, he's going to use that, and yeah, that was a TPK.
8d6. Down you go.
They're all perfectly in a room together, and I was like, well,
I didn't ask how big the room was. I said I cast fireball. So there you
yeah,
go.
I did feel a little bit bad about that.
Yeah, sometimes you definitely I've done, as balancing tactic, do like bad tactics to my bad guys. Oh, maybe I just do this really kind of slightly bad move just because the players need a little help, and the bad guy doesn't have perfect knowledge here as I do. So the bad guys necessarily know, so they might do slightly bad tactics there.
Yeah.
Can get away with that with quick balancing on the sly. Especially when you do tactics of like, you know what, for this encounter, fist 4 skeletons. There we go, chuck on the table. I'm sure it's fine. Uh, actually, probably monster stats though. In Fidelva and Below, the sequel kind of
The
add-on adventure, which is a really weird attachment because I've been running through that recently, actually.
DLC book.
Yeah. They really slapped that on. They went, Baldur's
Yeah.
Gate 3's doing great. Let's add mind flayers to this.
I didn't like it. What I read, sorry, I haven't run it, but
Yeah, it requires quite a bit of work for finessing to make it, and it doesn't make any sense why it's there. But anyway, the new monster stats in there, actually, I've definitely had situations because I was trying out new monster stats and players where they have a lot of abilities that are basically like, all right, so you failed a saving throw, you don't get to play for the next couple of turns, and a lot of like kind of stunning effects and things like that. A lot of that going on, and kind of looking around the table and seeing players kind of like not having fun because you're skipping turns, and that's just not a fun ability. And kind of like, okay, we need to change these up because we want these monsters to be challenging, but not fun. It's like kind of sucks. But it's like you started in this monster's aura, it's ongoing aura. Make a saving throw. Oh, you don't get a turn. Sorry. What?
It's like
ridiculous.
Petrification. If you throw that at a player, they never enjoy that.
Well, at least you got a couple saves to get out of it. With this, it's like, oh, you failed a save. Well, I guess that's you out of the game until you can pass that save. You can't even do anything.
And you can almost feel the air like suck out of the room.
Yeah,
like when you can see that you've taken the wind out of the players' enthusiasm.
Yeah, so I had to come up with situations where like, okay, how can I say the players they gotta have a turn? Not necessarily save them from the encounter, but just like free them up again to give a turn. So like, I think in this case, one of the players had a dragon egg or something on them. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna have this dragon egg dramatically hatch now. Like this is the moment the egg is hatched, and this is a magical fey dragon pops out, and it's kind of like a burst of like fey magic that kind of freezing from the dispels the effect they're on. Like just to kind of like we just spice this encounter up because no one's having fun not having turns.
When they kill your totally OP monster in 2 rounds, they're very satisfied.
Yeah.
And they'll throw it in your face.
Yeah. Challenging encounters, that's good, but like challenging, it's still fun, right? You don't want, there's definitely a lot of monsters in that book in particular, just like, they're anti-fun monsters. It's like, they're like, no, they took too far in the challenging.
I think I'd rather chop up I Spy a Peak. Is that the other one that's set in Phandelver? I'd rather chop that one into Lost Mind of Phandelver than run the expansion of that, whatever that Phandelver and Below.
Yeah,
it does feel like 2 different tones of adventures.
It is. It's basically Eldritch Horror slapped on. It's like, okay, this is a very different tone. What's going on?
Mind Flayer is so hot right now.
Yeah. License print money. That's what it is. More tentacles, please. Okay.
Yeah. What's one ridiculous thing you've worried about that turned out to be totally unfounded during a game?
Ridiculous thing I was worried about. What it was, that whole mind flayer twist with the Matrix thing. I'll see if I can think of another example. Because if you worry about that, different scenarios where I try to push the envelope and I was worried how it would go. I think I'll add on, I'll just expand on that mind flayer twist. So like one ridiculous thing I was worried about, because basically when I did the reset, so I did the whole, so they wake up after being TPK'd, I had like the boss come out, like a Manchun come out and fucking power world kill, like one of the players immediately just die. I had like 20 ninjas, martial artists come out and like stunning strike, and like so I had a ridiculous over the top encounter to kill them all. And then when they woke up as dogs, so I got there, replaced their minis with like little, there's these little there's D&D game version of the game where like there's little dog miniatures of wearing adventuring clothes and stuff like that. So I replaced their D&D characters with dog minis of their characters and go, you are all dogs now. And I made roll a saving throw. I think all but one person passed, or failed. So one person remembered the previous world where they're all humans and what happened. All the rest believed they were dogs, and so that one person had to convince the others what was happening in the time loop in this fake Matrix time loop. And I was really it's like really ridiculous. But also I was like, okay, how will this go? Because this is really off the wall.
Yeah. I did something similar. I did more of a Groundhog Day type time loop,
Mm.
where I used a map. It was one of those charity adventures that Wizards of the Coast released, and it had this. I think it was called the Lost Laboratory of Qualish,
Oh
which
yes.
is yep. And there's this cool map of a floating island.
Mm.
So I put that in the Undermountain. Like they went through a portal, and that was there. I made it part of Skullport. So in Skullport, there is a lady that's got a portal that she can use to get. She's got the only working teleportation portal to get back to Waterdeep. It's because she's an ex-lover of Hallister Blackcoat. So she instructed these players in order to do the portal, they had to go and retrieve a book from a library, and she put them. They went into the portal, and I used that map, that floating island map, and when they got there was a sphinx, and the sphinx asked them a riddle. If they passed the riddle, a little sort of floating ship would come across, carry them across, and go like that. And then every time I just had them die every time, and I'd just wake up on the other side and just kept repeating it and repeating it and repeating it until. And it was, my premise was it was a crashed spaceship, and it was stuck in a sort of a time loop where it was trying to hyperdrive out of there, but and it was run by a mind flayer lich. So they had to, they had to get in there and, but they had to just basically get in there, steal the book, and get out without getting killed. But yeah, I was once they got that sort of that Groundhog Day loop, because I wrote down the opening scene, and I would just every time I'd just kill them, TPK them, and then I'd just say you'd wake up sitting on the side of a cliff. Before you was a
Yeah. Classic.
yeah, a lot of fun. And that's just something I stole.
Yeah.
Using those sort of those movie cliches sometimes. Yeah, because the players can like it's a linchpin that they're familiar with it, so they're ordinarily suddenly that familiarity has already done most of the work for you.
I guess we could summarize this as like it can be scary to try new things and push the envelope and go, all right, we're gonna go something different this session. But like, yeah, I think don't be afraid to push the envelope, but like maybe like either if it's not a surprise, communicate it with your players ahead of time. Or if it is a surprise, I guess if it's just one session, then like at least we're back to it. Like if suddenly like big twist, everything's changed and the tone of the campaign suddenly changed or whatever, then you might want to have a conversation perhaps because make sure
I
everyone's
think
having
as
a good time.
well. You will have some sessions that will go better than others, and it's okay to have a bad session. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah,
your players will still turn up next game.
Well, they won't. And I guess new game, new campaign. I guess so. On new players.
There is a dungeon master shortage. You'll have no problem finding players if you step behind the screen, and players are having more fun than you realize.
Yeah.
The stuff you're worried about, they don't even notice.
Yeah, like because they keep coming back, they're having a good time. Like they might not necessarily always communicate that, but I mean, they're coming back. They hopefully laugh at your jokes, and like I have players that always look at their phones, for example. That's more of a like they are paying attention to the game though, and like they clearly like are engaged, but like they're like on their phone all the time or whatever, just because there's a lot of like ADHD and things like that, like that'd be aware of, but trying to be off put by that. Yeah,
I put because I play with two groups and one's quite a younger group. I put a load of I had that problem, and I put a load of fidget spinners and stuff like that out on my table.
Yeah.
And it actually worked. But a lot of my players do use their phone for D&D.
Yes,
all their characters are on Beyond,
D&D Beyond.
They
Couldn't be
don't know.
easier.
Yeah, they don't know how to roll a character any other way, and
That's so convenient.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you've. Well, you probably have attempted to try and talk a new player through, rolling a character on
Yes,
a.
I remember the before D&D Beyond times. There's an Excel spreadsheet that was really good back then that got taken down by Watsy because when they wanted to do D&D Beyond. But anyway,
Yeah.
but yes, it is quite challenging.
As a GM, do you think we put unnecessary stress on ourselves that players don't even notice or care about?
Yes, but I think the trick is once you learn though, like wait a minute, these players are idiots. They don't know what's going on. They don't know that you haven't read this or what's going on in the world. You just make up whatever and they'll buy into it. Oh, hook, line, and sinker. You can just do whatever. You
Yeah.
are a god to these puny mortals who know nothing. These ignorant mortals. So you build yourself up as a huge ego, and you can't go wrong. It's like what a great advice that is. Yeah. So basically, don't worry about it too much. I find, just because players don't necessarily know, they can't see behind the curtain. And you
They
can
don't know
kind
how
of
the sausage is made.
exactly, you can kind of fudge it a bit, and it's all good. You can shuffle things around behind the scenes, and it's all fine. Don't worry about it. Just don't worry.
I steal a lot of ideas off my players. So I record my games. That's how I take my notes.
Ah,
And then I listen to my recordings back.
you watch it all back.
No, I don't watch. I listen.
Oh, listen, okay.
Just audio. I have 3 dogs, so I do a lot of walking, and I'll hear things on the recordings that I didn't hear at the table, and they'll have ideas or theories about the game that are better than mine, and I'll steal them
Oh
and
yeah,
use them in my game, and then they feel so clever because they're like, I knew that guy was the bad guy, or I knew that,
110%. Yeah, for
and-
sure.
yeah,
Steal.
yeah. It's a good feeling for you. It's a good feeling for them.
Yeah, all winners.
Yeah.
Win.
And when you introduce, sometimes just getting something out of their backstory and throwing it into the game.
Always want to do that. Like
Yeah.
guaranteed, if you want to make sure a player has a good time, you reference something in their backstory, and they'll love it forever. So like 100%.
Yeah. And I've had quite a few people go, was that happening the whole time? Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Or like, it was just the other day I was running a game at a whole bunch of new players, at a convention type thing, and someone was like, "Oh, the kind of role play this guy to get his ring off him or whatever," and they're like, "Oh, is it magical?" And I'm like, you know what? Yes, it is. It's a ring of protection because like, of course, I made it so on the fly because like, you know what? This is a one shot. They can have a ring of protection. I don't care. They'll have a good time. Everyone's having a great time. Sure, he gave you a ring of protection. Why not? Since you asked,
I've got players that are just obsessed by everything they pick up. Is it magic? Is this a magic sword? Is this a magic item? And they're always looting bodies. So I've just had to make so many random loot tables just to keep it fun.
Yeah.
Because players love to loot things.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like for my campaigns, where I kind of try and control the flow of magic items somewhat to try and keep some semblance of balance, because not all magic items are created equal. Like I create like little lists of like, okay, here's all the fun utility items I can just give out ad hoc. It doesn't matter. This kind of fun things. Have your wand of magic detection or wand of secrets or like your immovable rods and like all this kind of little kind of interesting utility stuff that's not like immediately adds to combat powerhouse ridiculousness.
It's not going to break your game.
Yeah, and a bunch of potions, things like that. So I have to do all at once. And so I got like a little table there, like cool. Well, I was randomly throw things in. Sure, you know what? You rolled really high in investigation. Tell you what, there's a secret. It was a secret. There's a secret panel there now. You found this thing totally. Oh wow, you totally would have missed that for sure if you didn't roll that natural 20 right then or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like having a little table of things that aren't going to break things ready to go. And then I got kind of like a wish list of like things that I know players will really want or like really want for their character class and things like that. Like for when I need really special things for a particular character, like okay, this person has got something in a while, let's put something in for this twin, whatever,
I had So you know how they have the Griffin riders in Waterdeep?
Yes.
So I had one land, and when they got their tavern,
Hmm.
and I had one of the players was outside the tavern just minding his business, and I had and they spent a lot of money on the tavern. I used some product off the DMG, and they spent a lot of time building up the tavern's toilets. They actually spent most of their cash on the toilets. So I said, "You guys have got
Wow.
the flashiest toilets in all of Waterdeep."
Like
Um,
gold toilet seats.
yeah, yeah. And this one player was like, so this one player was standing outside the tavern, and I had one of those Griffin riders like fly down
Mhm.
and then just go to the player, hold my Griffin. I need to check out these toilets. So like he's like sitting there holding this Griffin.
Yeah.
I got him to roll an animal handling check. He failed. I had the Griffin like eat a nearby horse as he was walking past. And then the guy ran back, goes, "Oh, these are amazing toilets. Grab this Griffin." But then he suddenly became assessed going, "I want a Griffin. I need to have a Griffin." So that
Yeah.
became a plot point. And I knew he had Speak with Animals.
Mm.
And when I looked at the stat blocks, I was like, holy shit, Griffins have only got like, I think they had an intelligence of 7 or something like that. So
Yeah.
they're really, really, really stupid. So
Mm.
when I introduced him to a point where he could have a Griffin and he decided to use Speak of Animals, I got to play it as this really stupid, dumb creature. And it was just such a fun role-playing moment because
Yeah.
it was like, he was so excited to finally potentially have a pet Griffin, and then this thing was just a moron.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
didn't want he didn't want it anymore.
Role playing animals is the best. More
Yeah.
monstrosities, like, but things like super animals or beasts only. Monstrosities close enough. A lot of them, like, they're made of animals.
Yeah.
Who cares? Who cares? This is fun.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's not get into the owlbear argument with the
A
yeah.
wizard got bored one day. Don't worry about it.
Okay, if you could give one piece of advice to a nervous new game master before they sit down and run their first game, what would it be?
Run. No. So
Don't do it.
don't do it. Get out now.
It's
Before you
shit's
know
like crack.
Yeah, before you know it, you'll be heavily in debt and have like a million miniatures. You nothing, nowhere to put them, and oh my gosh, no. So, advice for a first time DM. Trying to think. Harken back. Um, oh, um, hmm. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I felt I learnt a lot, like a sponge, like kind of watching others. So like, I guess first time my advice would be to play, but, don't do it. Play first or watch someone else play, like, there's a lot of great online videos as well, and, and kinda learn how they do it, um, and kind of almost stuff, like, kinda try to replicate it a little bit, but then, like, obviously take your own twist on it and how you wanna do it, your own style, but, I definitely found I learned a lot just from playing and watching others, and then kind of absorbing on information and go, "Okay, okay." Um, so yeah, like kinda like I
But
assume it
play
yeah.
maybe watch normal people play. Like I think you can add anxiety if you watch people like Matt Mercer.
Oh yeah, I don't like if you don't worry about doing accents all the time.
No.
I don't know why you just like it's that's too hard. But but like still I got a lot of inspiration ideas just watching Critical Role, for example.
Mm.
Uh I'm not a voice actor, I can't do all the accents. Maybe if I practice enough. But anyway, that's the Kiwi accent's so strong though, it's hard. But anyway, the it's
All my orcs sound Eastern European.
yeah. So yeah, I was watching, learning, and then I guess if you're, but I guess I'm assuming if you're a GM, you're already done that part. You're about to sit down at a table. So I guess just like I guess is yes and is probably another good advice tip. Like, kind of like, all right, you want to do that. Or yes but kind of thing as well, I guess as well. Like, like, okay, you want to do that thing, all right. And just kind of like back and forth and kind of don't go, no, you can't do that, no, you can't do that. Because then everyone's like, okay, can I do anything then? Like, don't be too
Mm.
stressed Yeah, don't be too stressed about your darlings, I guess. So kind of looping back to some of the other things we covered before and earlier, but yeah, like don't be too precious about your darlings. Like, sure, you may have prepped. I found definitely newer GMs and like even I definitely did this where I prepped way too much and like okay, I'm now prepped for the next 10 sessions because I over prepped, but do that less these
Yeah.
days. But don't be worried about like just prep enough. Like you'll eventually get the feel for how much you need, and like you always don't be afraid to change things and just go. You know what was because it is a group storytelling effort. It's not just you telling the story here. It's everyone here at the table has buy-in and telling the story. So don't be afraid to let other players take the reins, as it were, and kind of oh yeah, we can actually yes that I'm trying to think of an example now. Yes, actually that goblin is a noble. I'm glad you rolled really high perception and noticed that signet ring on their finger or something. Yeah, totally. And like I don't know, like kind of like I guess hold on. The quest giver is now this goblin. Just gonna don't be afraid to just go. You know what? That's fine. Let's just change that. just,
Mm.
just relax and just go with the flow.
Yeah, I also think if you're just managing your time, like how long's your game going to be? So if you're only running a game for 3 hours, then or 2 hours, you've only got to get 2 hours worth of encounters. So just have a few encounters
Yeah,
and move them around if
yeah,
need
yeah.
be.
Also depends on if it's one shot of a campaign, right? If it's like, okay, this is supposed
Mm,
to be we're all done in one evening and that's it. We never come back to this. It's like, okay, we need to
yeah.
streamline that. And that's something you'll get a better feel for as you run games. Okay, hold on. Like,
Mm,
um yeah, like 2 hour game, okay, we're doing like one combat in this, and there's gonna be like maybe
yeah.
two, but probably one, and like some role play encounters and whatnot. Um yeah, eventually get the feel for the pacing.
Yeah, pacing is definitely important. Yeah, and just have a few encounters and don't be afraid to cut them if they don't fit, if you don't
Yeah.
run out of time.
So I tend to have a few like encounters up my sleeve for like normally I have the main ones. So like, I've got the big final boss fight here, and we've got like
Mm,
some medium role play over here, and then I've got like a few optional like, okay, walking down this corridor, these statues will animate and attack them. But you know what? If I'm running short for time, maybe we don't have the statues at all. We'll just
mm,
remove that. Just kind of
yeah,
adjust time there. Hold on, let's change things.
almost like D&D fluff. Like I'll add this if these guys motor through this, I haven't got anything. I'll have an A and a B. Where I'm going to start it and where I want it to end,
Mm.
and if they just burn through it, and I can see that we're going to get to a section I'm not really prepared for, then I do have, like you say, encounters to just fluff out the game.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, and they don't have to be combat. Combat's usually the easiest one to chuck in.
Yeah.
That's
Could be role
always a
playing
fast.
puzzles or like just like a weird trap. It's like, how do we get past this thing? Um,
Yeah,
they're
yeah.
always fun, and also having options for like I love having like random levers, and it's like, what do these levers do? And they change things. They go, okay, now this trap activates over here, or whatever, or that trap didn't go off, yeah, because that lever you pushed 3 rooms ago actually turned off that trap. What? And like it's always fun. It's like the players will be ages fit around with just like a bunch of levers in the wall, going, let's pull what combination, what happens when we pull these levers, and you can see in ages just like this next hour of the session is going to be players playing with these levers, figuring out what combination does what to the dungeon. Sure, whatever. Sounds good fun.
Some random room in the dungeon, there's a light bulb going on and off,
Yeah.
on and off.
Oh, actually, there's a bunch of levers in Mad Badge and the Mad Mage. There's like one that plays like controls like the sound and like lights and stuff in the whole like the miniature castle.
Yeah,
And I had it. Oh, I think I had it so like 'cause it was the music lever. I think all button you push, and then the music starts playing. I actually had a playlist I played, and then okay, let's turn it off. And I pushed the button again, and I made the music play again, but it's like over like the still first music's still playing, so it's like now it's overlapping. It's like no, make it stop. They keep pushing the button, like more music. No, what madman designed this castle? What madman indeed? Alas, the Black Cloak.
yeah. I had a massive phobia about running mega dungeons,
Mm.
and that it wasn't so bad once I got into it. so hesitant about that module, but I had a really good time of it. I don't know anyone that's run it all the way through though.
I
That's
have.
admit.
You know,
Yeah,
you met one. I've done it.
from level 1 to 20.
Yes, I did
Holy
it.
crap! How long did
That's
that take you?
so that's for a few years.
Hmm.
And it's how I started my Dawnforge collection, collecting terrain, because I basically was starting to build the dungeon. As I went, I was getting enough terrain to build kind of each section and things. And so eventually, in the final boss fight, I built all of Halasta's tower. Because the whole battle was across his whole tower, so I had to build every floor of his tower as he teleports around the place.
Yeah.
But level 20, even though it's their first, finally a published adventure that goes to level 20, they did it. Finally, we can see what Watsy thinks a level 20 encounter is. I had to add so much to that encounter to make it
Yeah.
balanced, because Halasta by himself against a bunch of party level 20s is not going to last very long. He is one
No.
round. So I gave him a simulacrum of himself. Like, I think I gave him 2 ancient dragon minions. I think I trucked in a couple of demon lords he had imprisoned there or whatever. Like, I just gave him like ridiculous amounts of minions and throughout his tower. They could, as he teleported around the tower in different minions, different rooms to get in the way, protect the squishy wizard. Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous.
High level play is a topic that I'd like to cover at some point. Definitely. What's the other one? Eva Vecna. That's the new one. I haven't read that.
Yes, I did a video covering the whole book actually. And on my channel, Cutting Words, like and subscribe. As well as that's the video I'm actually editing. Is I decided for 2024, first video running 2024 rules. The book just came out, and so I ran the final chapter, level 20 characters. First time using 2024 rules, level 20 characters fighting Vecna. So the final chapter in that adventure, I ran the whole final chapter in a 3-hour time span. So that was pretty crazy. Just trying out all the 2024 rules all at once at high level, straight out of the gate. So yeah, so it was good fun. So hopefully they'll be out on my YouTube channel very soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, thanks for joining me on this first episode of Masters of the Dungeon.
Yes.
And sharing your thoughts.
Thank you for having me.
Please subscribe. Is there anything anything you want to plug? Or I guess you've already plugged it.
I just got in there. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna wait for you for permission. I'm just gonna start plugging. Plug.
No, mate.
Yeah. Oh gosh.
Go hard, mate.
Go hard. All right. So obviously, like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Cutting Words. I talk about D&D all the time. As well as, if you're looking for hiring dungeon masters to run your game, like maybe I'd like to experience some D&D before I jump in the deep end myself. There's people you can pay to do that. There's Questbook. I'm actually a member of the Questbook Dungeon Master team. You can hire a Dungeon Master to run you a game today. And then, well, not right now, today, but, in a future point in time, check schedules. Schedules are the greatest enemy of Dungeons & Dragons, I tell you.
Yeah.
So it's questbook.nz. If you're not in New Zealand, listen to this. I'm sorry. I'm sure there's another company can help you. Google it.
I think Start Playing, I think, is the international one.
Anyway. Yeah, there we go. There's some plugs. Cutting Words is the big one. Like and subscribe. Also on Instagram, Cutting Words GM, if you want to see all my amazing photos of all the crazy shenanigans I get up to, all my terrain and minis and costumes. I got a lot of those too from the old laughing hobby. All right.
Yeah. Well, if you did enjoy this episode, please subscribe and leave a review. And until next time, keep rolling those dice.
Woohoo! Natural 20s all the time.
Thanks, everyone.